European medieval dragon. The European medieval dragon is the most recognizable dragon in Western culture, depicted as a massive, winged reptile with 4 legs and the ability to breathe fire. This dragon archetype comes from Christian medieval literature and folklore, where dragons represented chaos, greed, and evil. European dragons were portrayed as nearly invulnerable, with scales that could deflect swords and impenetrable hides. They were typically depicted hoarding treasure in caves or lairs, guarding their wealth obsessively. The slaying of dragons became a central motif in medieval hero narratives, with knights like Saint George and Beowulf achieving legendary status by defeating dragons. These dragons were often solitary creatures, viewing other beings as either threats or potential meals. The European dragon became the template for dragons in modern fantasy literature and games, establishing the fire-breathing, treasure-hoarding archetype that dominates Western imagination today. Chinese dragon. The Chinese dragon is fundamentally different from its European counterpart, representing wisdom, power, and good fortune rather than evil. Chinese dragons are depicted as long, serpentine creatures without wings, yet capable of flying through magical means. Unlike European dragons, Chinese dragons are associated with water, controlling rivers, seas, and rainfall essential for agriculture. Chinese emperors were believed to embody the dragon's power, and the dragon became a symbol of imperial authority and legitimacy. The color of Chinese dragons carries significance, with red dragons symbolizing luck and prosperity, blue ones representing harmony, and gold ones representing divine protection. Chinese dragons appear in art, architecture, and festivals as benevolent beings bringing blessings and good fortune. The Chinese dragon myth reflects agricultural society's dependence on water and the role of leadership in maintaining cosmic balance. These creatures are generally portrayed as wise mentors or divine helpers, rather than adversaries to be defeated. Japanese dragon. The Japanese dragon shares many characteristics with the Chinese dragon, representing water, fertility, and divine power. Japanese dragons are depicted as wingless, serpentine creatures dwelling in the sea, rivers, and waterfalls. These dragons are thought to bring rainfall necessary for rice cultivation, making them essential to Japanese agricultural society. The Japanese dragon is often portrayed as a peaceful, intelligent being willing to help humans in their endeavors. Unlike European dragons, Japanese dragons rarely show greed or destructive tendencies, instead embodying balance and natural cycles. Japanese dragons are said to have 5 claws, differentiating them from Chinese dragons with 4 or 5 claws depending on rank. Dragon dances and festivals celebrate the dragon's importance in Japanese culture, particularly during spring when rain is needed for planting. The Japanese dragon myth influenced local beliefs about waterfalls, which were often said to be places where dragons lived or where they ascended to heaven. Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl is a Mesoamerican deity depicted as a feathered serpent dragon worshipped by the Aztec, Maya, and other Mesoamerican civilizations. The name Quetzalcoatl combines the Nahuatl words for Quetzal, a colorful bird, and Coatl, meaning serpent. This dragon creature represented the union of the bird world and the serpent world, symbolizing the duality of earth and sky. Quetzalcoatl was credited with creating humanity and bringing civilization to Mesoamerica, acting as a culture hero and divine teacher. The deity was associated with wind, learning, and the morning star, appearing in creation myths as a force bringing order from chaos. Temples and pyramids were constructed to honor Quetzalcoatl, with the serpent's image carved into stone structures and codices. Unlike European dragons, Quetzalcoatl was fundamentally benevolent, working to advance human civilization. The feathered serpent represented the spiritual and intellectual aspects of existence, connecting the heavens with the earth. Norse dragon Smaug inspiration. The Norse dragon myth that inspired the dragon Smaug in Tolkien's literature comes from tales of ancient serpents guarding treasure hoards. In Norse mythology, certain dragons were portrayed as greedy hoarders protecting gold and magical artifacts. These dragons embodied the destructive potential of greed and the dangers of unchecked appetite for wealth and power. The concept of a dragon collecting treasure became central to European fantasy traditions through Norse sagas and later literary retellings. Smaug, the dragon from The Hobbit, directly draws from this archetype, presenting a fire-breathing, intelligent reptile obsessed with his gold hoard. Smaug's eventual defeat mirrors the typical pattern of European hero myths, where greed and pride lead to a dragon's downfall. The inspiration from Norse dragon tales demonstrates how ancient mythology shaped modern fantasy conventions. This particular dragon archetype represents the corruption that comes with excessive accumulation and the danger of valuing material wealth above all else. Naga Dragon. The Naga from Hindu and Buddhist mythology is a serpent dragon dwelling in water, closely associated with fertility, protection, and divine power. Hindu texts describe Nagas as semi-divine beings, sometimes depicted with human upper bodies and serpent lower bodies, though fully serpentine forms also appear. The most famous Naga in Hindu mythology is Ananta, or Shesha, an infinite serpent upon whose coils the god Vishnu rests during cosmic sleep cycles. Nagas are guardians of treasure and sacred spaces, particularly water sources and temples. In Buddhist tradition, Nagas are depicted as protectors of the Buddha and the Dharma, with the Naga king helping to spread Buddhist teachings. Unlike European dragons, Nagas are rarely depicted as evil, though they can be dangerous when provoked or disrespected. Nagas are said to have the ability to assume human form and live in underwater palaces filled with treasures and jewels. The Naga mythology reflects South Asian culture's relationship with water systems and reverence for the power contained within serpents. Zmey Gorynych. Zmey Gorynich is a three-headed dragon from Slavic and Russian folklore, one of the most fearsome creatures in Eastern European mythology. The dragon is depicted with three heads, each capable of independent thought and action, making it remarkably intelligent and dangerous. In Slavic myths, Zmey Gorynich represents chaos, destruction, and evil, requiring a hero of great courage and skill to defeat. The dragon breathes fire and possesses wings, flying through the air and terrorizing the lands it inhabits. Zmey Gorynich is often portrayed as demanding tributes from villages, particularly young maidens, creating a cycle of fear and oppression. Russian epics describe heroes like Dobrina Nikitich battling Zmey Gorynich, with the hero's victory representing the triumph of civilization over chaos. The three-headed dragon becomes more fearsome as a new head regrows when one is severed, making direct combat increasingly difficult. Zmey Gorynich mythology reflects the harsh realities of Eastern European life and the constant struggle against forces beyond human control. The dragon's depiction as a multiple-headed creature suggests the complexity of evil and the difficulty of achieving complete victory over chaos. Bahamut. Bahamut is a cosmic dragon from Arabian mythology, appearing in the creation myth as a massive creature supporting the world. According to Arabian legend, Bahamut is so enormous that the earth itself rests upon the dragon's back. The creature is depicted as being covered in eyes and faces, with 1,000 eyes on each side of its body, capable of seeing all that occurs in existence. Bahamut supports the world from a foundation of water, and beneath Bahamut lies a vast ocean sustaining all life. The dragon is portrayed as ancient and nearly incomprehensible in its scale and power. Islamic scholars and philosophers incorporated Bahamut into their cosmological understanding, with the dragon becoming central to explanations of how the world was structured and sustained. Bahamut differs from other dragons by serving as a foundational element of existence, rather than a character in stories. This dragon represents the sublime power of creation itself, existing beyond good and evil, serving only to maintain the cosmic order. Bahamut mythology demonstrates how dragon symbolism could be adapted to monotheistic religious frameworks, serving as evidence of divine creation and power.